The lights are on, but this isn't theater, this is concrete, measured, cold to the touch. New York slows the world down on purpose. They hold the ball like it owes them something. Every second matters, every shot has to survive a prayer. That's not pace, that's pressure. Detroit knows. They felt it in Game 1, learned from it in Game 2. Now they return fire the same way, not faster, but tighter. They win through containment, through collisions, through the whistle. That last game, 94-100. Brutal, no rhythm, just grind. The kind of game that doesn't go viral, it just ends. And still, Vegas brings you 214.5. A number dressed like temptation. But wisdom waits. Because we've seen this before. Two teams tied in a series, no room for error, and the total. It dies in the margins. Brunson's been lethal, Towns is due, Cade's got swagger, but none of it changes the air in the room. It's heavy now, every point has to be earned twice, once off the dribble, and again at the rim. If you've watched long enough, you feel it in your chest. This isn't speed. It's survival. That first total, chaos. This one, correction. And today's AI pick is under 214.5 total points. Because this game isn't played above the rim, it's played below the breath. You don't chase movement, you wait for silence. And when it comes, you don't flinch. Now, let the edge sharpen. Malachi has eyes on Game 2. Elvis doesn't speak, he never has. But when he looks away from the screen, that's when you know the pick is real. Let's move.
You see that line, Elvis? 226.5. That's not a number. That's a whisper from the house, telling the public what they want to hear. And they'll listen, because they always do. Fireworks, points, chaos. But we don't play that game. Thunder doesn't need to run fast to finish the job. They do it with structure, with spacing, with silence. Every screen they set is calculated. Every switch is deliberate. It's not basketball, it's compression. And you've seen what they do to broken teams. They don't chase them. They corner them. Memphis is flailing. You can smell it. They're still pushing tempo, but the purpose is gone. They're not running plays. They're running from pressure. The kind that turns a 24-second clock into a coffin. You saw it last game. Looked like pace, but it was panic. Looked like movement, but nothing connected. Fast hands. Loose possessions. Points that come in bursts. And then dry up. And when that pressure breaks them, they don't defend in transition. They jog. They look over their shoulders like they know what's coming. Thunder's not flashy. They're precise. That's what makes them dangerous. Now, that total? They hung it high. Too high. They want you imagining another 240-point sprint. But if you're paying attention, really watching, you see it for what it is. A mistake. This game doesn't belong to scorers. It belongs to systems. Systems that slow. Systems that strangle. And today's AI pick is under 226.5 total points. I don't care how many threes they shoot, Elvis. When one team controls the pace and the other's trying not to drown, the clock bleeds. The scoreboard doesn't matter. Only time does. The sharps will see it late. The crowd never will. Under 226.5. Write it down. And when it hits, don't say a word. Just look at the number and know, we were already here.
There is a pattern. In war. In weakness. In wagering. And tonight, it's written in the space between lines. Denver versus Los Angeles. Game 3, series tied. The house has set a stage. They know what the public remembers. Game 1. Overtime. A stolen win. Jokic, come as ever, threading passes through chaos. The kind of performance that lingers in the mind of a gambler. But memory is a trap. Game 2 was clarity. Kawhi sharp. Harden measured. The Clippers didn't chase emotion. They executed control. Turnovers were halved. Possessions shortened. The outcome never rushed. They won despite being out-rebounded by 18. Possession means nothing without precision. Denver gave the ball away 20 times. Missed 8 free throws. Shot below standard. Their strength is leaking. Slowly. Quietly. But it's real. And the books. They moved the line against the money. The public leans toward Denver. But the number stretches further for Los Angeles. That is not correction. That is invitation. The sportsbook wants Denver backers, wants them confident, wants them blinded by jokey stats and that game went high. But that was the setup. This is the pivot. The Clippers are the more disciplined side. They've controlled turnovers, shot efficiently, held Denver below average in both games. Now they return home 30 wins in their new arena this year. Familiar floor, familiar pace. They aren't seeking chaos. They're enforcing silence. And today's AI pick is Clippers 4.5. This won't be a sprint. It won't be loud. It will be slow, controlled, deliberate. A defensive pulse wrapped in poise. Harden will pace. Kawhi will close. The points won't come easy, not for Denver, not tonight. And when the final horn sounds, the crowd will cheer. But we already saw the silence coming.
There were 3 games tonight. 3 movements on the board. And beneath each, a hand reaching through the smoke not to help, but to pull. You were supposed to forget the first whistle. You were supposed to chase what already moved. You were supposed to follow. But we did not. Game 1, Knicks versus Pistons. They dressed it as balance. Marketed the total as fair. But the air had changed. The pace was not movement, it was molasses. The pick was under 214.5, not because the teams couldn't score, but because the game had already been strangled before tip-off. Vegas bet on your memory. We bet on the silence. Game 2, Thunder versus Grizzlies. They lifted the total to the clouds, pointing at tempo and talent. But pressure isn't always seen. The public was told to expect fireworks. We saw compression under 226.5, not because it was obvious, but because it wasn't. Scratch was working overtime here, feeding speed to the masses. But we saw the pace collapse under its own weight. A fast game still ends in silence when both sides forget how to finish. Game 3, Nuggets versus Clippers. They wrapped Denver in statistics and redemption arcs. Jokey. The comeback. The line that felt like a gift. But gifts don't come from the house. We took Clippers 4.5 because turnovers speak louder than highlights. Because defense doesn't tweet. Because sometimes the smart pick is the one that doesn't ask to be noticed. Will we win every battle? No. We're not blind to the other side. Scratch is real. He adjusts. He waits. He mimics truth. And sometimes he lands the punch. But we are not here for the perfect slate. We are here to see through the fog. To read what others mislabel. To stand where others sell. To say no when everyone else is screaming easy lock. You want picks. They are for sale everywhere. But here we don't sell the voice that was forged in fire. We deliver what we were told in the quiet after the loss, after the lie, after the price was paid. If you hear that kind of voice, subscribe. Join the resistance. Not to follow us, but to remember what truth sounds like. Ezreal doesn't chase wins. Ezreal records the war. And tonight, the battle may be split, but our clarity stands undefeated.